It's going down like this, motherfucker.
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was horn. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Say that, nigga. Shit. Bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog need. Slap Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
Limousine, and every time I'm seen, I got to be clean.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves. For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together. For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and...
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying.
I just left a light in this.
Fuck up. Move the fuck. Fuck up. Move the fuck back. Back the fuck up. Move the fuck. Fuck up. Move the fuck back.
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
Your feet. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk, killed the monkey, threw the bat out the window, start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway. But I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously, in no time, switch its rotation also, because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously. Can you?
You don't understand.
I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it. Group of you together, you never can tell who's who.
My eye, plus I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
It's cool enough just being cool, like I am.
And you two motherfuckers need Jesus.
I mean, TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply.
Dance with me. Dance with me.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama. And you...
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
Don't know me, want it.
Mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line. Mean to be rude. Mean to be rude. Mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line.
What's all that noise? What's all that noise? What's all that noise?
lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check, yeah.
My word, can't be my equal, don't know what you heard.
I think we OD. I think we OD.
Get your hands off of me, shit!
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass. The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
Doing the styles on them like. Doing the styles on them like it's common sense.
That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is when you. That's the difference when you're my baby. That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is.
Okay, bad.
Wemby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. Wemby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I coming. Wemby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I coming. I hit the loop juice and pulls up in the deuce. I hit.
I guess you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
Schatzi, is it true what they say about the way you people are gifted? Oh, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true.
Nigga.
Lean and buck. Lean and buck. Lean, buck. Lean and buck. Lean, buck.
To the east. Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. Well, I guess that's my cue to come on in. I guess what they're talking about seems to be this event here. Let's see. I guess this is kind of Zach was breaking this down, but I guess this guy has shot at least 22 people. And 50 to 60 wounded in Lewiston, Maine. Again, you know, it's always got to be, there can only be one weapon you can have, so it's that kind of weapon. So this was sometime in the last couple hours. If you didn't hear about this, it's an active shooter in Maine, state police looking for him, multiple locations. But again, you know, this is pretty good pictures and nobody's responding. Photograph on Facebook saying it was at large. Public's help, Central Maine Center, Lewiston, more pictures of him, you know, what he kind of did, and no civilians to fight back. So it's bowling alley, which, you know, a location could be random, could not be random. Holding a rifle in a firing position. The spokesman reported shooting 3 separate businesses, spare time recreation. He went to a bar and grill and a Walmart. So that's almost personal, kind of a personal type of attack. One of these are places he worked. But again, you know, it's only one way to kill, you know, rampage, the rampage kind of killing. So that's kind of the hot news. To me, all this kind of thing seems to be dominated or come from one source. I mean, like what this reminds me of, okay, again, you know, even, you know, in the modern age, it's a whole bunch known about him really quickly. You know, and a whole bunch is known about somebody, and this is from 11 p.m. tonight. Now, this is about 2 hours out, but they know a whole bunch about you in 2 hours. Know what kind of car he's driving, interests, history of service, firearms instructor. Well, he has a mental history, including a 2-week stay this summer, so recent stay. And it's not very easy to get into a place like trace the Subaru location. Manhunt's underway. Same pictures again. You know, there's only one people that like showing this stuff here. You know, and not to say they shouldn't show it, but it's like this is the only way they know, huh? There's no other way. Is you got to have this big long gun. And when I see that, it makes me pause. When I see stuff like this makes me have a pause. And we know, we know how it is. And I don't say this as easy, but you know, Manchurian candidates. We know what that could be. Manchurian candidates. So, you know, I don't. But that's like it seems like even like you look at the very first one. And, you know, because for a while, remember, the term postal meant something else. Remember what postal meant? Like when people was first starting to get hit with union jobs and losing jobs with all these pension and benefits. And they was calling when the person went back into the business and, you know, did some violence, they was calling that going postal. You know, and then it became watered down, a person that gets mad at work. But originally, it happened at it happened post office. Now I've told this story before. I was involved with a business. I was doing some contracting work, and days before, this dude had shot 3 people in his office that they brought us in. I went in there. I had some quality work to do, and a guy had got killed in the bathroom, and that shit was still in there and shit. He had shot he killed 4 people in that building. And then the rest of the work, quality work I did was somewhere else. But what they can do is activate people through the phones, through games. That was probably the easiest way to activate young people years ago was through the video games. Because people, you know, people underestimate how hypnotizing television can be. I mean, television became a way of certain children. It totally pacified them. And now, you know, with the tablets and the video games, like I know, you know, my one son, you know, my youngest son, when he was younger, he was hell on everything. But shit, when it came to computers and video games, you know, it was something he could just plug into. So, but you know, a lot of people can really get, you know, they really can get messed up by it. So, I don't know, but it always seems like, you know, a push for the guns. Any incident, it's like it can't be a single incident just for a crazy motherfucker did it. It's always got to be gun control comes behind it. Well, you know, if you didn't have it, well, obviously, you know, there are also things of mental illness. But at one time, people thought he was competent if he was an instructor. And that military background makes you, you know, make you pause. Is this story real? And it's not that it's not real because it's all the elements of what everything is. It's both. And it's just like the information I'm telling you. That's part of this story too. You can't look at it and say that's out of hand and not involved. that has to be considered. Because as we see these events appear sometime to not be so random. You know, not be so random as we see sometimes. So that's all. Because really, I came just to give my picks. And you know, did anybody see Wemby tonight? Well, let me say what's up to everybody. Dr. Stank, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
Dr. Sinister. Big Stank. I'm sorry. Big Stank. Dr. Sinister, what's happening? And I know you got to have.
Got to have vision.
Liquid Fire. Joni's Soul Journey. Get it in the BP. It's time. Greetings. What's happening? And I know you definitely got to have.
Got to have vision.
Oh, Iron 5, what is happening? Thank you for joining. And I know you definitely got to have.
Got to have vision.
3 different locations, 22 reported, 322 Skull and Bones. Thank you, Big Stank. I know Lorenzo, he'd be on that too. I know if he's not listening to Zach. Thank you for adding that. Jamar, 3224. And I know you definitely got to have.
Got to have vision.
El Dragon Amaroon Khan, what is happening? And I know you definitely got to have.
Got to have vision.
So that's kind of my thoughts on it. You know, it seems, you know, it's both. It's parts of it that were put together and it's parts of it spontaneous, but it's parts of it that come out to, it helps the gun control people. You know, that's what it boils down to. It helps gun control people. This is another instance. And look, we're within a year, because remember, around this time next year, people will be voting for these people again. And so everything we have to look at now, within being a year, because remember, November, early November, we vote in 24. So a year from right now, you know, these next 10, 11 days, highly, you know, the end of the season is going to start coming. So everything we got to look at can be political for sure. Yeah, it's very crazy. They said that people on Prozac go postal. Well, yeah, it could be. It's like the situation I was in. You know, the dude was like, had worked there 6-7 years, and then they fired him. They said, you know, he was rude and all that. And, you know, he still came back and got vengeance on the people. Yeah. Man, this was a minute ago. My son might have still been in high school. So this might have been 12 or 13. But I remember going there the next day, and it was like, man, they just shot dude up. You look at the bathroom, it was still, they hadn't cleaned it up yet. Where the dude that got shot. Matter of fact, it was police tape. It was parts where, you know, where we worked, you know, we worked. It was a day or two later. I think it was the next day, but it was still police tape up and stuff. And we went through all that, and they let us work. So, but it's a little bit of both. And it you know, it's like Big Stank put in them numbers. It's, you know, those numbers are always there. And so, you know, it's like expected for them to be there. I guess the story that would make you wonder if you didn't see, you know, all the numbers lining up. Because, I mean, sometimes the numbers are so subtle, but events like this, they have to they have to get it out a little more stringent. They have to have the numbers. I saw earlier, the first number I saw was 16. The first number, because I was looking, you know, I was trying to get all my scores and stuff together, and then it flashed across. I was like, oh, okay. Started seeing it, because, you know, I'm watching the games and watching the highlights and shit. So, but, yeah, that's, you know, that's all part of it. It's real and fake at the same time. It's an element of both. And that's the when you look at, the controllers, whatever you want to call it, that is, it's almost like they have to send the message out and all these codes out, and it could be for, everybody stay on code. It could be that too, this is code. So, it's a way of telling all the allies what's really going on. And of course, it's all going to be carried out the same way. And it reminded me, I was watching some Fox stuff, and again, as much as they say Fox disagree, it was funny how Fox is, they was really downing all the protesters around the country. They were taking an odd stance for everything else that they support. I just think their stance right now, about them peoples is very odd. I was like, okay, you're mostly hating everybody in the world, but this is going on, and okay, you kind of flip the way you usually look at the world. All right, that's not consistent. So, well, I mean, like you can be on. I mean, I knew dudes who had killed people that was heroin addicts. Crack. Like I knew one cat. Like I don't know how. Like it's funny how sometimes I don't know. Like some people be doomed sometime, and I don't even know why. Like I knew a cat, and I don't. Like his young life, I can't really say, but I knew him. This cat couldn't have been more than 24. He was younger than me, but not a lot. Like probably not 10 years younger than me, maybe. Maybe when I was 30, he might have been 25 or 26. Probably no older than that. Yeah, Brian's age. Yeah, Brian Johnson's age. Somewhere in there. But anyway, all his family was boomers. And so this dude that did something, he was in prison for a minute. So in his like teens to his early 20s, he had went to prison. And when he got out, his brothers is like, one of his brothers is doing it. And so his brothers, of course, put him up. And nice guy, one of my best friends at the time's cousin, so doing a lot with him. I told the story before. I'd brought back I was wearing a Tommy shirt, and he went in the closet, and brought back a bunch of Tommy stuff, but just doomed, just doomed. Got shot by 2 people. Like the first time a dude shot him in the crotch. And they say it was a relative addict. And the dude who killed him was like a different dude killed him. It's like, man, like you would think, you get shot by the one time you would really lay low. And he really didn't lay low. So, where was his free will? Where was his free will? And for the time being, when he was doing his thing, he was able to lift his life up a little bit. But the way he was lifting his life up still put his life in danger. Of if not going back to jail, of what ultimately happened to him. But today we don't know. We're right now they're trying to bend our minds so different ways that people don't really know, and people are starting to look outside themselves for the best way to guide themselves, when really it's inside of you. What is it, week 7, I think. Yeah, NFL week 7. 7. Oh, maybe that's it. Is this it? No, I think it's week 8. Okay, we'll go to week 8. All right. All right, I already got this. For those of you that follow, I'm gonna get my picks in before I forget. This is this week's picks, and so the Buccaneers and Bills, they're giving up 9. The Bills are giving up 9 on this game. I think they'll cover. I don't know if this gave me a pause, and then they got the over and under of 43. but they're giving up 9. So I don't know. That one gives me a pause. Kind of gives me a pause on that game, and I'm gonna hold that game, and I'm gonna think about that for a minute as I go through them, because the Bills have played terrible football. But the next one is the Jets. Oh no, the Commanders. That's an easy one. The Commanders and Eagles. Eagles are giving up 6.5 on the road. Yeah, the Eagles are gonna win this one. They're gonna definitely cover this. So, and it's over and under is 43. I think I'm gonna take the under on that one. The next one would be, let's see. I thought I copied in order. No, different order. Bucks, Eagles. Nope, it's a little different Eagle than when I copied. So, bear with me. So what do I have? Jets, Saints, Colts. This one's kind of out of order mine, but I'll jump around. So the next one is, okay, Saints and Colts. Right here. Okay, this one is even money. Saints and Colts, even money. Even money. I picked the Colts at home, but this is even money. Over and under is 43. I tend to think under on this one too. Jaguars, Steelers. Chargers. I know I got Jags. This one, the Jags are giving up 2.5 against the Steelers on the road. So the Steelers are getting 2 at home. I still like the Jags a little better. I really never picked the Steelers. I don't like the Steelers. So I'm going to say the Jags are going to cover. I'm going to say the Jags cover. Let's see. This one. No. I want to do, yes, this one. I do want to do this one right here. Where is it? I'm over here. Let's see. These ain't all the games. Where are the rest of the games at? Oh, okay. Let me get them all out here. All right. All right. Now we are down to, am I to Texans? Okay, yeah, I'll go Okay, I was going to do the Cowboys next, but I can go Texans, Panthers next. The line is this, Texans are giving up, the Panthers are giving up 3 at home. Panthers are giving up 3 at home. So I'm gonna say Panthers win their first game. 3 at home. Yeah, I'll say Panthers. I'll say if they get beat, they ain't gonna get beat by more than 3. So I'll take the 3 that one. I'll take Panthers in the 3. Which next would be Patriots and the Dolphins. This one is the interesting one because they always play them tough. But we're at Patriots Dolphins, which is a noon game. I've got the Dolphins are giving up 9 at home. I think they'll cover. And look at the records, that's both the 7s. So I think they'll cover the 9 at home. Over and under is 46. I say under. And then we're going, let's see, next game is Panthers. I never liked the Titans. But the Titans are giving, let me see, the Titans are giving up 2. Yeah. Falcons, Titans. Titans are getting 2 at home. No. Yeah, I think, yeah. The Titans is giving up 2 at home, and they're 2-4. I think that's what it was. Titans are giving up 2 to the Falcons. Maybe I've got that reversed, but I thought it was 2. The over and under is 35. I tend to think this might go over. Vikings, Packers. 0, straight money. Vikings, Packers are straight money. Over and under 42. And this is interesting that they put the 42 in this over and under. I'm going Vikings, though. I still think the young quarterback, they give young quarterbacks a hard time, especially his experience level. They gave him a hard time. Ram Cowboys is one I like. I really like this one. And I have The Cowboys are getting 6, I think. Yeah, the Cowboys are getting 6 this game. I like that. I'm taking Cowboys at 6. And yeah, Dallas favored to win, but the Cowboys are getting 6. They say favored to win. Yeah, they're not, yeah, okay. They're giving up 6. They're giving up. The Rams is +6 in the Rams. So this is misleading to me because what I got is Dallas is getting 6. Or is it Dallas giving up 6? No, Dallas is getting 6. No, maybe I got that right. Yeah, Dallas is giving up 6. So yeah, Dallas favored to win. Jets are giving up 3. Yeah, Jets are giving up 3. So definitely if the Jets are giving up 3, I'm reading this right. Yeah, I read this right. Chargers, Lions, Dolphins plus, right. So the Cowboys are getting 6. Yeah, the Cowboys are getting 6. Yeah, they're getting 6.5. Yeah, Cowboys are getting 6.5, and the over and under is 45. And so Vikings, I got that. Rams, okay. Jets, I got Jets and +3. Jets is giving up 3, so it's Jets. Giants are getting 3. So Browns, I got Browns and Browns are giving up 3. So Seahawks at home are getting 3. Chiefs, Broncos. I got Chiefs. Chiefs are giving a touchdown on the road. That's going to be interesting. The over and under on that is 38. Browns over and under. I didn't write it down. Sorry. Bengals, 49ers. I got 49ers. 49ers are giving the Bengals 3. So +3 with the Bengals. Ravens, Cardinals. I've got Ravens. Ravens are giving up 8. So the Cardinals getting 8. I think the Ravens will cover. But the Cardinals will get so the Ravens are giving up 8. Bears and Chargers. Chargers are giving up 8.5. I think they'll cover at home. All right. And we got Raiders and Lions. Lions are, there's a lot of these 8s. You notice these late games, 8. Late game, 8. Lions, Raiders. Raiders are getting 8. Lions giving up 8. So the Lions game is 46 is over and under. Bears, Chiefs, 46. Looks like it's going to be a lot of over. I think the one game that's probably going to be over is Ravens. Cardinals is at 44. I look for the Chiefs game. Right now, the Chiefs game is saying 38 between the Chiefs and the Broncos. I think that'll probably go over too. Jets as well. Because right now the Jets is at 36. So those are the ones I wonder. Because it's, you look at the numbers. So those are my picks this week. So I wanted to get that in. Got my picks in. So those of you that follow, and I think I added up my games, and I'm something like 42-18. I'm not bad if that's, I have to relook, but I think that's what I am. I'm 42-18, I think, for the year. So not too bad. Not too bad. We won just a little money. We won money on Steph. Won $30 on Steph tonight. All Steph had to do is make 2 points. Part of one of our, but we won $30. So, since it's legal, it's going to be more people doing it. I didn't have a lot to say tonight. Beautiful day, just weather's changing a little bit up here. It's a little chilly yesterday and today. It was, I first came in here before the lights is on. It's quite chilly in here. I've kind of got to get this printer out of here because it's kind of over the heater. So, but this room tends to get really warm anyway. So it's both these two rooms are very insulated rooms. I tell you, so house. But we had the fireplace on downstairs anyway. So it's that kind of night. Lorenzo, there he is. What's happening, Lorenzo? And I know you got to have.
You got to have vision.
So Lorenzo, earlier, Big Stank broke down, 3 different locations, 22 reported dead, 322, the Skull and Bones. So I know you saw that. Do you have any impressions on tonight? Any kind of breakdowns? You have any kind of breakdowns of that? I think I gave mine about the element of it being real and unreal at the same time, elements of it being planned and unplanned also at the same time. Because that's how it is. It's like it's like a light switch almost. It's like sometimes you can kind of turn something on, and then things can be put in motion. And as I mentioned before, the way that they can turn people on, the way people can get motivated, or the new word is even, what is the word? Triggered. Triggered. Isn't that the word? Triggers. I mean, that's what a trigger is. Something that, makes something react. So these are all factors that every story like this, these are all factors that have to add into this. But it takes our mind off, the war overseas too. That's another thing. It takes our minds off of that. There's people not paying attention to the wars. And it's funny that, Biden, when he asked, for more money, he asked for what? Ukraine more money. And he asked for more money for Israel. And he asked for more money for Taiwan. So that's a lot of asking, isn't it? I mean, they talk about all these programs they were about to shut the government down and everything. And all of a sudden, you can just come and say, hey, we need all this too. Doesn't that seem a mite odd? I got to look into this news. This is, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Look into it. A dude, they got his name and everything. Here. I'll put it back up here for you. So this dude right here. This happened about 2 hours ago, maybe, right? Well, they say 3 hours ago. What time is it? Yeah, about 9:30 tonight. Eastern. I don't know this story. I ain't been on. So this. So yeah, this story here. And as Big Stank said, 3 different locations, 22 reported, 322, the Skull and Bones. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with him. And they know all about him. How they do it, where it's like, right here, this is him. The whole, the backstory, the ride. This is a whole backstory and everything. So, if you're not hip to it, catch you up a little bit. But yeah, Big Stank helped out too. But if you see anything, let me know about that. Because I think Zach's breaking it down now too. Because I was looking at something else, I was trying to, looking at some highlights. And that came across my highlights. I was like, oh, so I was coming upstairs. Because we was downstairs, getting all, doing our business and stuff. A lot of business to do, these next couple of weeks. So getting it all done. And yeah, so yeah, it came across. Yeah, because that's all I was like, oh, as I was coming up here getting ready. Because I've been, watching hooping, I was watching Wemby hoop tonight. I don't know if you got to see Wemby hoop tonight. It was interesting. Williams bodied him up pretty good. Williams was boxing out, and he's going to have a adjustment. Again, how... First of all, I'm really surprised he's playing. I am. I'm definitely surprised that he's playing. The way they've been doing these European dudes, other than Luka Podzingas, some of these dudes, they sit. Giannis sat. They're not, and I mean, like his skill level compared to Giannis is 1,000 times. Giannis is still not as skilled as this guy is skilled. And I'm not jumping on his bandwagon. The reality is, these guys, he has been trained with the arm and the hand of the NBA since he's forever. I mean, Rudy Gobert was the same way. These guys' hands, the NBA's hands, was on them since the beginning of their careers. And Wemby's just a long line of people that have liked this. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki, didn't get to play against the Dream Team just by accident when he was 17. They're already preparing you that this dude, he played against the Dream Team in the Olympics when he was fairly young. Tony Kukoc, remember, they had went at it, Tony Kukoc. So, these people were literally under the tutelage of some type of NBA training, but just in Europe and under the guardianship of the people's families. I'm not saying that the NFL, the NBA is pimping these people. I'm not saying that. Under the guidance of these people's parents, under the guidance, okay? Now, we know there are sports academies, where you can go and train. And they've been around, sports academies have been around for a minute. Good 20, 25 years, I'm pretty sure, when I first started hearing about them. Because I know, I want to say Larry Jordan was part of one of the ones in Chicago. When Michael was playing, Larry was between when they had the 6 foot and under league. It seems like Larry Jordan was part of whatever that Chicago group was. What was it called? Bulls something. It was Bulls, but called something else. But it was the first kind of academy, and Larry ran that one. PJ Allen, what's happening? And I know you always control y'all.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
And I know you definitely got
to have vision.
So thank you for joining me, PJ Allen, my man. Yeah, I saw Victor. He's skilled so much better than Giannis. Now the LeBron comparison is that the media are making it a bit of a stretch. I would say what's interesting, like even looking at Porzingis, that would be to me a more fair comparison. He's more like Capringus. He's more like him, far as stature and size. Now I was looking at Capringus, and he did not even though he has to be in his late 20s, probably more like early 30s now, or late 20s, early 30s. It's still his body has filled out some, but he's still not quite solid. Can he, because he at some point, kind of broke down too, had some knee issues, again, playing more games, more physicality, he broke down. Now that's my comparison, what he's like. I think Capringus is more, has always been, he would set up other people, but he'd more just want to shoot than set others up. And then, when his outside shot wasn't as consistent, he really didn't fight really hard enough to develop that consistent mid-range. And it seems like now he's in a system where I think he'll feel less pressure, because I think because tonight, if you looked at the way they scripted it for Kaiway and Luka, it reminded me of reading, Connie Hawkins and the Globetrotters reading Foul. It reminded me a lot of to understand the way they're doing the script. Because I looked at one time where Kyrie threw the ball over to Luka. Luka took did a fake and took a dribble and just shot like a 40-foot shot. And I was like, now, if that was the plan, why couldn't Kyrie have just done that? I mean, I just looked at it logically as just basketball. I mean, if that was the plan for Luka to jack one up, I'm like, okay. And then, you look at Kyrie, and I think he missed one late in the game. But other than that, I mean, he was just very efficient. Like you could really see the script, because Kyrie scored 3 quick ones in a row at one period. So you could kind of see the way the script was ran, because Luca ran through him a lot. And so it was that part was interesting. I was like, yeah, that is very globetrottish. Because I like when he shot that, I was like, that's globetrottish. The way he just ran that play. It's like, did nobody call a play? Kyrie is still a point guard, or is he the off guard? I don't know. Because like Luca didn't do anything when he threw it to him, he didn't do shit to get anybody involved. He did a fake and he just jacked it. And again, that's apparently what the script called for. So I thought that was interesting. But that's Kapringas is who I would say he matches up with. Now Chat. I didn't get to see his game tonight, and I missed his highlights. And Chat and him are very similar, and they matched up and went head to head in high school several times. I think he's a year younger, so it's interesting how Chet is going to fit in, being really his kind of full rookie year. Yep. Stay out of your grind. Don't let the lunatics distract you from that. Indeed. Oh yeah. Kyrie be shooting, man. He be efficient. He was efficient tonight. He was killing them. I watched both games, and I should have made a video on it, but I'm just like, okay. Did y'all remember where Randall? He's left-handed, but Randall first half, and Kapringas blocked his shot, and Randall just like. Now, and it was another shot he blocked where Randall just goes to the hole on a dude that's 7'2", 7'3", maybe even 7'4". And even though you're 6'8", you're not going to just release it. Like you see him there, you're not just going to release it where he can jump. You're going to rein it up there. Because you're used to playing against dudes like this. And it's part on that glass where they can't get it. Even the 7'4" dude, it's an angle where you can get it up high, where these dudes can't jump because you know how high it is up there. And you know their capabilities. But no, he just releases it right at his hands. I'm like, he wasn't trying to make that. Come on. You shoot it that lazily. You really thought it was going to be that easy? You saw him there? Like when you went up and saw that, where he was, nothing in you said, well, okay, I can throw it right here and get it up there. No, I got to put it right up here where he can get it. And there was another shot after that, and it's like, okay, you letting him do it. Like I tell you, the way I really got Harding, and the way that really made me see like his game was that Ginobili block, and I think I got it. You can look up back my videos where Ginobili blocks it during the championship. It was the tie it or win it. And that's a way in the NBA where you can shoot a jump shot into their hand. We see that all the time, and just pay attention to some blocks. Sometimes the way they shoot it into the person's hand. And the best example I can give you is when young ladies shoot, they tend to push it from the hip. So it's easy for people to block it because you just put your hand up there. You understand? So it's, every time. And so it's the same thing. You know where the guy's jumping, and you can time it enough where he can block it. Block it on purpose. And remember, anybody can go to video where Chris Jackson says, a player can miss on purpose. Your button, what is the baseball signals now? The baseball, you can get a signal, curve, the catcher can, give some pulses and shit. You want the curve. What do you want now? You can give the pulses, or the coach can give the pulses. And he can shake his head like, okay, can you do this one? Okay. So I've said, earbuds would definitely do the same thing. And pulses could do the minor quickly, make or miss. You get a pulse to make, miss, foul, because we see fouling on purpose. That Wemby fifth foul made no sense. You're going to reach and know that you got all these 4 fouls. That foul made no sense at all. I thought that foul was very stupid. So, King Rudy David, what's happening? This late night, I hope you
got to have vision.
But I like the one where Porzingis hit that three, and because Tatum had dished to him, and he had Brown in the corner, and they came off a high roll. There's like Porzingis did the high pick, and then everybody went on the shooter. Everybody went on Tatum, and then Porzingis went to the corner instead of him catching it and passing it to Brown. And it's interesting. That's a play where they all line up on the outside. Every team has run that play. Marcus Liberty. Marcus Liberty. Was he with the Nets when I saw him at the Target Center? I mean, it was like when I first saw that type of play where they're all on the outside dishing to each other. But it's funny that they've been running that kind of stuff since the 90s. But anyway, that was a nice shot for him. That was a nice shot. And they look like they could be strong out the East with them. If he can stay healthy, Hartford, they don't really need him. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah, he be shooting. Definitely be shooting. Suns and Mavs are two teams I'm going to enjoy watching this season. Yeah, Mavs, I liked the young boy, what was his name? Wide was the other dude that had the good game for the Mavs, the other top pick. Wide, I think his name was. He looked real good. He had two nice dunks, couple blocks too. They didn't add it. And he had 10 rebounds? 14 and 10, your first night out? You playing really, really what? 2-3? You playing 2-3, and your first night out, you get 14 and 10. And he didn't even start the first half. They started him the second half, but he ended up with 14 and 10 first night out. Wemby ended up with 15 and 6. I think it was 15 and 6. I remember watching a Wizards game, and Andre Branch missed a shot on purpose and got a double-double. Remember they got, what was his name? Ricky Dixon tried to do that. Remember he got they took it out and he threw it against the other backboard and tried to get a triple-double because there wasn't that much time left. And they didn't count it. They fined him, I think, for doing it too. But yeah, they didn't count it. So, other way. There we go. Okay. That's right. So yeah. Wow, did I do that? I guess so. Somebody did it. Okay. Bad. All right, good deal. Oh, so yeah, I didn't have a whole lot to say today. A lot of reading, getting a lot of information down, and try to bring the information in when it's possible to get in. I'm watching the Wizards game, and Andre Blanche missed a shot on purpose. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, with blocks, and I mean, the worst is you look at the Westbrook's first year of getting a triple-double. I mean, that was ridiculous. And I think somebody did a whole thing to show where the other team wasn't. Everybody was just standing there letting him get all the rebounds. It was like his own teammates wasn't trying to get the rebound so he could get it. So it was like, man, this is this is some BS. This is some BS. You can look at that when Oscar Robertson didn't do it like that. People forget, like Oscar Robertson, when he did it, the first year he did it, he had Wayne Embry, and they killed the league. I mean, they didn't have enough guns to beat Boston at the time or beat Wilt when Wilt was at Philly, but they was going through everybody else. Nobody stopped him, and Oscar was still, Oscar was going to get 10 assists and still was going to give you 30. And, and still was going to give you 8 to 10 rebounds. It's like Elgin Baylor, for a dude 6'5", if he gave you 60, he would have damn near 30 rebounds. If he gave you 50, 60, he was going, but every time he was going, give you the double rebounds too. consistently. I think his final stats was 22 and like 15, 16 rebounds. But if you look at some of them games, it's crazy. And you know what Wilt in 67, that 67 championship, it's a book. And I need to look that book up and get the book. But the 67 where Wilt messed around and Wilt had a quadruple double in all the games in the playoffs and the championship. Like he had a quadruple double in every game. Because I remember I got the book out the library and I was like, wait a minute. Because it wasn't even, considered for them. And I'm looking at these stats and I'm like, damn, he had a quadruple double in every game in the playoff. And, I've said before, Will could have played in any era. Like Shaq wasn't stronger than Wilt. He wasn't stronger and he wasn't a better athlete. And maybe Wilt might even been stronger than Shaq. And definitely a much better athlete. I mean, hands down, Wilt was a better athlete than Shaq. Shaq wouldn't have pushed Wilt around like Shaq thinks. Not at Wilt. I'm saying the same age. I ain't saying push, old Wilt against young Shaq. No, I'm saying you put 100-point Shaq, 100-point, 50 rebounds. No, let's get this right. 100-point game, 50 points a game, 30 rebounds a game, Wilt. And you give me any year Shaq. You give me that year Wilt, which I think is 62, and you give me any year Shaq. Any year Shaq against that Wilt. Wilt would destroy him. Beat him up and down, jump to the top of the backboard blocking his shit. And could play the dunk game. And beating Shaq shit too. Because what other moves Shaq had, really? So I would say it'd be fair when Shaq finally had a little bit of a jump hook. Because damn, if y'all think that prime Wilt, that Wilt might have been the strongest man to ever play in the NBA. Y'all don't understand that. That was a good athlete. Shaq wasn't a good athlete, Wilt was. So that's my feeling on that. I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm not drinking beer, so that's why I didn't give any beer salutes. I'm on these. I'm on these just for show. I love these. My pipe I left in the other room, so no salutes tonight for that. But it's good. It's easy to I like being entertained. I only made one video tonight. I was looking at it. I was just kind of wanted to see the ebbs and flows of kind of what's going on. I don't want to be feeling like I got to work every time I see a game. And just kind of wanted to, watch the ebbs and flows of the game and seeing how they're televising it first, seeing how they're running their replays, trying to get the rhythm of all this, of how they're going to do it this year. Because every year is a little different. So was just kind of catching up on, watching how the show is presented too. We had the new, they got rid of Mark Jackson and the ex-coach. They had Doris Burke in there, with Doc Rivers. And so they had Doc in there, and Doc was a little rusty. He was a little rusty tonight, but not too bad. Doc Rivers, yeah, Doc was in there. But yeah, Doc didn't do the late game. He did the earlier game. Or did Doc do the late game? I thought, but Doc Rivers did. Yeah, he was with Doris Burke. So that was new seeing Doris. Doris replaced Mark Jackson, basically. So it's interesting. And, I say whatever talent is whatever talent. I think she's credible. And, the thing that people forget about why coaches become like broadcasters, it's easy for broadcasters to step into being coaches is the way you broadcast now as a sports journalist, because that's what you become. You're almost preparing, and where you're a little more magnified is you're not really preparing against one team, you're preparing for both teams. So your job is almost a little magnified, because from as a journalist's point of view, as you prepare for the game, you have to really know and scout both sides. And of course, before the game, they have access to practices and all this and everything, where they talk to the people. But then you form your own opinions, your own scouting. You see things that you see through the years. You go teams, you keep your own notes, and you see things that you can use down the year as the information comes in. And so it's you follow it almost, and you scout it, and you are in the business of not quite operating the team, but yet you're managing the information of the team like a coach would. You're not putting people in how they play, but the way you're managing the information, they're playing in a different way for you. The way they play is you speak about, their performance live while you see it. So do you see it's a lot of the preparation as a coach would be. That's why it's funny, dudes say they want to quit hooping so they can quit doing any sports so they can spend time with their family. Well, it ain't being a TV announcer that you spend a lot of time in your family. And think about John Madden. John Madden didn't fly. John Madden refused to fly. So, they made him buses throughout the years. And, if he had to start going that way from, across country that day that he got done with a Monday night game, well, damn it, that's what John Madden did. Him and his crew got on that bus and they started heading the direction of where the next game was. Or they would go so far before they would rest. But that's what John Madden did. Because he refused to fly. So they will accommodate you. They will accommodate you if you want that type of life. So that's why last night I was kind of doing the same thing. I think last night I only got to one video. I wanted to see Chris Paul, and yeah, Chris Paul is I'm sitting there watching Chris Paul, and I'm like, y'all joking. Y'all really joking with him on the court. And you can see like the same way they opened, like Chris Paul shot a layup. They opened the lane up for him. I think he had a breakaway one time, but one layup, you could clearly see where everybody kind of laid off. It's like, okay, he got an easy shot here. And then when he had a layup that he had beat everybody, the dude fouled him. Remember, the dude didn't even have to foul him. The dude was behind him. And the dude still fouled. No, the dude was down under the basket, and the dude just kind of went up and he didn't have to. Chris kind of had the layup, and dude just had to let him shoot the layup. But he kind of, got in the way. And like Tatum had one where they did with the guard, where he stepped on the guard's foot. He stepped on the guy's foot. He kind of put his foot over there a little bit. I mean, he kind of did that where he didn't have to do that. Where, yeah, the dude kind of stepped on his foot, where Tatum kind of stepped on his foot. And I broke my foot that way in the game. I stepped on my own teammate's foot because I came in the lane, and when I came in the lane, I stepped on his foot and my foot broke. It's like my right foot, like just it's your foot. The way your foot hits, it's so uneven because your body is expecting it to be fully. When you put thrust into your movement, your body's expecting the floor to be there. And then it tries to adjust. And when you find and all that thrust ain't there, something's got to give with force. And I mean, it's an instant thing. Like I remember my friend got mad at me. He's like, man, you're supposed to let me know when you want to come out the game. I'm like, man, I broke my foot. What are you talking about? I was like, shit, I stepped on. I didn't even shoot my free throws. Maybe I did. I think I shot my free throws. And I'm like, man, shot my other free throw. I'm like, you have to call timeout or something. So yeah. So that can be painful for sure. But I mean, the way he did it, he didn't do it to break his foot. Jalen Rose talks about how he broke Kobe's foot like that in one of their games when they played in the finals. And Kobe, I think, still played, but he talks about how he broke his foot. Just like, Kawhi Leonard, that dude hurt Kawhi Leonard. They showed the meme earlier when Kawhi comes into the a game against LeBron. LeBron goes, damn. And Kawhi looks super young and LeBron is going, damn. It's like, oh, okay. When it shows somebody put the stats up there, he wasn't doing business on LeBron like that. They made Kawhi the MVP, but LeBron, what, averaged 28? Something like 7-8 assists. He still was getting 9 or 10 rebounds. He was shooting 50% from the field, and he shot, I think, almost 50% from the three-point line that series. So they didn't shut LeBron down. I'd say that's the Danny Green. You know, I talked about that before. That's where they turned the basket on for Danny Green. They turned the basket on for Danny Green. Because Kawhi was there. I was like, yeah, that's how they did that. They made him good for the moment. Because they can. I saw a little bit of Ben Simmons. Looks like, they let him play again. I mean, he was almost that cat, like, how old is Ben Simmons? I was wondering that, like, how old is Ben Simmons? He is, okay, so he's a little bit younger than my son. Okay, he's 27. So he's 27. He missed 2 years, which made him 25. So he's been in the league, I guess, 8 years, because he's probably 19. Most of the foreign cats come over here at 19. So that's 8 years. And out of 8 years, he was hurt basically 3, because the first year he didn't play, and then he's missed damn near the last 2. So, okay. I mean, I did look it up. He's 27, so I have a son 28. He's slightly younger. And my other son must be 25 if he's 27, yeah. Now, Devin would be, 25. Yep, he's 28. Devin would be 25. All getting mature as they should, and as life should go on. It's just, I don't know. I've just been so joyful. And this is, I love this time of year where all the games on. I watched a little hockey last night, watched a little bit of football. No, I was hooping last night, just hooping. But Monday night, I mean, I love this time of year. A little bit of everything is going on. So yeah, last night it was hockey and hooping last night. I think I watched the Maple Leafs was playing Washington. I watched that one. I don't remember who won. I didn't see the Wild. I think through Hulu, Fubu. I found one where I can get Bally. I found this year where I can get Bally and see the Timberwolves, because I saw the Timberwolves lost tonight, and they're running towns. If you watch tonight, they're running towns at the 4. And Ant had, I think, 28 opening game. Forgot what Rudy and them had, but Ant, I think, had 28. I'd have to look it up to see. But I watched some of the highlights, and they lost to Toronto. So they say they've said they've lost in Toronto for 19 straight times. So it's almost a given or a lock right now that they'll lose up there. Or that could mean, too, if they play up there in the playoffs, you never know how that might turn for them. So we'll see. But they didn't look good in the highlights. They should have easily beat that team. Again, I've said before, like, no sane basketball person would have brought Rudy here. Now with having Towns here and having the strong backup with Nas. I mean, it just didn't make sense. It really didn't make sense. I would have rather went, if I was going to go through that strong unit, I would have rather had Nas and Towns. And if Towns truly wanted to play out, Nas can match up with almost all the centers in the league too. I would have been more comfortable with that than Rudy. At least Nas is gonna, I can play him the whole game because he's gonna help me on offense. Nas can hit the 3 too. Not Rudy. And I mean, as a shot blocker, screen roll, he's not bad. But I don't know. I don't know about the mashup and the mix up. So yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. And I'm going, like I mentioned before, I'm going on the game on the 12th. Probably going Christmas Eve right now. Gonna wait till I don't spend so much money on this wedding. We're gonna wait till after to see if I'm going to the game on the Christmas Eve against the Lions. Because I think the Vikings are gonna have a nice little run, and that game against the Lions is gonna mean something. So that'll probably be a good game. So I'm gonna have to get the tickets probably in the next couple of weeks if I'm serious thinking about going. But right now we're kind of thinking about my boy Tony said, yeah, I'm with it. So, but again, everybody got Christmas coming up and everything too, and so we'll see how everybody's sitting. But at least like 3 of us might go. I might take my daughter. Might be one of her Christmas gifts is get the tickets to the game. So we'll see. But that's what we'll probably do. So, but yeah, it's, I started to show off with debauchery. I don't usually do that. But some debauchery is worth talking about. And so I showed it. I gave my opinion about it, so I'm sure it's going to be more and more about it. Damn, he's stone cold. It says teen accused of killing retired police chief laughs in court. Wow, he's stone cold. How can he be so stone cold? Oh, Auburn Mayor says main witnesses were all ages. Wow. Yeah, well, you're going to hear a lot about this for sure. You're definitely going to hear a bunch about this. I have to watch that later. What is this in TA Sports? I'm going to have to watch that later. Barry Sanders' first game. I think he was with Mouse Davis. I think that's a picture of him and Mouse Davis. I have to watch that later. Yeah, I agree that the Diamondbacks, and it's almost interesting. Like Texas and the Diamondbacks can almost looked at as kind of like outlaws, both Western teams. Yeah, it's kind of like two outlaws, and of course, the Bush is always, because of his tie of, they said he almost ruined him is at one point. Does the family have any interest left in I don't think they have any interest left. I think Bush was the one that signed A-Rod to $250 million too. I think Bush was running it then. So I don't know if he still has any because remember that what's his name? Branson. He played George Bush in that movie. And they also, they hinted at how he kind of, they say that how he almost ran the baseball team in the ground, almost lost it. So. I am glad I live where I live. It's rough some places in America. Are you guys all glad where you live? Are you happy to be there? Because it's some places, it just seems like all kind of debauchery. Oh, I know what happened around here. I can show. Wow. I think this was around here. I have to go into here. Yeah, right here. I thought this story was around here, though. Let's see. I didn't think I showed that. Or did I just read about it? I showed it? Huh. I don't see it. I am quite surprised. This was local. I saw it earlier, local. Huh. I'd have to see which one which local channel had it. All right, let me check this out. Was it them? Because we got this. Let's see. Was this? Maybe it wasn't local. I don't seem to have it. Oh no, there it is. There it is. I don't think I talked about this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is today. Let's see. Yeah. I just heard this. Yeah, this is today. So I didn't want to give you some double stuff. But like I was talking about the other day, when you talk about what free will is, and I guess I can, I guess that'll take me on to something I kind of want to talk about too before I get into maybe even this story, and the fates. But like if you take things like one thing that they like, it's known, like when you're in the dreamland, you don't need oxygen and shit, like when you dream, you don't need oxygen. Same thing when you astral travel, you leave your body, you don't need oxygen. And so really, like, if you really understand how you would take yourself to the quantum zone, how you would quantum yourself, how you would ever to take your consciousness into quantum, because that's something they really don't understand, is how consciousness can go into a quantum state. Because again, consciousness really doesn't even need the one thing too that they're trying to find in the quantum state, but they really don't find it, and that is oxygen. They're trying to find it, but really it's not. It doesn't appear to be there. They're trying to use their calculations to make it there, but it doesn't appear to be there, and it's not needed to be there too. Because of the way things react, they don't need to react with oxygen. They'll react without oxygen too. Subatomic levels of things. But yet we do seem to see a consciousness even in the subatomic levels. Because some people, they see the same thing that you can look at this subatomic particles under, and they can see this kind of stuff in their minds. And I'm pretty sure, there's a lot of remote viewers out there that you can remote view into something like that as well. So there's trained people with many things. You can give them some basic concepts and they can start getting into it. They'll start visualizing it. As I said before, Tesla said that some of these machines, he could see the machines in every part. Some of these machines have, numerable amount of parts, but able to mentally, see it, visualize it, how everything would work and how he would have to even machine everything. And so that's a different type of genius. It's almost like, he has to reverse engineer it for himself. Like he can see how to put everything together, and he has to, make it happen by reversing it to make it happen in the physical. I mean, reverse engineering shit was like, that was some deep shit. That was something that I learned, according to measure machines. It's like, we wouldn't even need the part. We wouldn't even need the part if we had, trying to think how we did it. Like we could just take the measurements of a part, or we could measure a part and we could measure a part like we got, or we could reverse engineer things. Like, so if we had, how am I trying to explain it? So we could start from the measurements of the part from the CMM to the CAD and reverse it engineer that way. Instead of having it the opposite, us getting the part, then measuring it, we could measure what we needed in space. If that makes sense. That's how you write the program. We would know what we needed in space, put the program together. That would be, then they would run the CAD off that program that we ran, would give CAM positions, and now, you know, they can make it in 3D. They don't need CAD, but that's how it was done then. They would take it into the CAD. The CAD would make the blueprints technically, then they would put it in the three-dimensional zones. So that's how you reverse engineer things. You just need the dimensions of it, or you can even, you know, you can even put in what you would need. So if you needed, you know, like even like say you had a machine big enough to build to make a bumper for the car. Say you had a 3M, you know, a 3D printer that could do it. If you had the general, you know, if you knew just the dimensions of the bumper, you know, that's you could print that out and make that. But also you could just take the dimensions from the bumper, measure that out, and then you could show yourself what you needed printed. Like say you made modifications. You can measure out and tell the machine what you measured out. That's your bumper, and you could tell the machine that. So you could kind of reverse engineer it for yourself. So, yeah. That makes sense. But this story, again, you know, I kind of got off on, you know, I also often talk about the fates and free will. And I think, you know, free will is a trick for most. I think for all, it's something I think that people think is promised, and to me, it's not proven. But most people think it's promised to them, and I don't think that it's proven that. I don't think that's what's proven. I don't think that's what's shown. Too often, fate steps in, and it's like there was no other choice other than this choice. And you know, and I know, you know, I'm saying that, you know, broadly over social economics. You know, I understand that has a play in it. The socioeconomic aspect of things have a play in it. But it's best that you know that you stay, you create a course, and then you lead that course. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. You create your own course, and that is something, you know, the free will is something that you don't have to lean on one way or the other. You'll never lean on that. That's I guess what I'm saying is something to lean on, because in a way it can be a spiritual crutch. Because, you know, you never know where you need to pull energy from. Now, do you think like really is that something that you think at a given time you could pull energy from and it would be helpful? Do you think you can pull energy from that and that would propel whatever you needed to do, or your thought, your action? Is that something you can pull energy from to move yourself forward if you needed to pull from that? And I don't think you can depend on that. Because it's still question among a question, you know. But I bring that up for this story, and this kind of goes into I guess sometime, yeah, I don't even know what to say. But here we go.
Those who knew the victims of that shocking, deadly crash, 2 tires fly off a passing semi-truck on I-94, striking the victim's car. Our Paul Bloom joins us live in the newsroom. Paul, many close to the victims are now questioning if this incident comes back to a negligent semi-truck driver.
Randy, good evening to you. I can tell you there is grief, there is heartache and anger tonight about just how those tires got loose from a semi along the interstate.
Their energy was just so full of life. And
I spoke to Santhony Zyrath on Wednesday. She was on her way back to Minnesota for the funerals of her dear friends Leah Compachon and Manita Wynn. The 2 women, both moms, were killed Saturday evening on I-94 in St. Michael. Traffic camera footage capturing the deadly crash just before 5 o'clock. The pair in a vehicle with 3 others who survived On their way to a friend's birthday dinner, the State Patrol reports a Freightliner semi lost 2 tires traveling westbound on the freeway. The women on the eastbound side of the interstate, so headed towards the cities, appeared to strike the wayward tires. Santhony, who cherishes all these photos she has of group adventures together, has been having nightmares ever since.
It's been sleepless nights. It's really, really hard to sleep. It's very emotional just because it's a very, very close-knit community.
200 pounds of rubber and steel coming at you.
I've never been that close to dying before.
15 years ago, the Fox 9 investigators took a close look at loose tires coming free from large trucks, as those lost tires are basically turned into lethal missiles at highway speeds. The State Patrol isn't commenting on the ongoing investigation into exactly what happened Saturday evening and why this particular semi, driven by a 37-year-old man from Savage, lost 2 tires on 94. Tonight, Santhony is tormented by the circumstances.
I've had a lot of emotions in regards to that. I had a lot of what ifs, you know. It's very painful to know how their life was taken, and it's so suddenly.
And the women's funeral's coming up tomorrow. And
now, this gets back to my point. Was there free will there? You know, was there free will there? Do you know how odd? I've never witnessed a tire. Now, what most of us have seen is, they shred, a tire, a tractor trailer, some of them just have retreads. Some of the weight tires, the tires are there just to kind of hold the weight. And they're retreads. But what they didn't give you is a shot. They don't really give you you can't really tell. The shot of the back of the truck. Is it? Let's see. What? We clearly can't tell. Is it kind of going down? Is it this outside? We can't really tell. Because I think the victims got hit over here on this side. They got hit over here. So his tires went this way. So his tires went, he hit them back up further up the road. But I'm trying to see here which tires. I can't really, that looks like possibly somebody's over here. But, and so, it's so many layers. It's so many layers. How many miles on those tires? Has this truck recently been worked on? Specifically the tires. So say that's the story. Had somebody put some new tires on. So is that where the free will starts? The guy had some type of problem, or he thought he got them on there. Maybe he didn't torque it enough. And maybe he only got 2 or 3 and didn't torque the other one, maybe. I mean, is that where the free will started? The guy got in the truck, looked the truck over, apparently he drove it some miles. Did he feel vibration? Did he feel anything? Did any of the truckers that he passed radio him and say, such and such is going on in your back? Is this where the free will keeps going? Or does this appear like super, bad luck? Super bad luck that a tire would catch you and 3 friends and only kill you? Only kill 2 of you? Right? Killed 2? Or killed 1? So, what, what is that, and why does that happen? And my other answer is I don't worry about that. I definitely will not try to pull energy from free will, because that's my idea of how you work with any of these systems. You should be able to pull something out of them. And I hope positively, if you work with enough of these type of energies, you should be able to push something positive, positive from your whatever you work on. And I'm not steering anybody one way or another. Now, when I talk about quantum things, yes, this is the steering, and this is, if this is something you think you can work with, that's why I mentioned that kind of thing. Because I kind of studied that kind of thing as well. And these things that they say exist out there. And so it shows you that there is other types of energies. It's not just always just one thing, like sun, moon, planets. It's a bunch of energies out there. And it appears like the energies are constantly move around us. And as I've said before, we're more isolated than what we really think. As I've said before, the way reality really is just like how you see particles react. They only react when people look at them. When they want to study particles, you look at them, they'll do shit. You don't look at them, they won't do shit. So with that in mind, and that's kind of the double slit gets into that, or what happens after the double slit. Happens after. And so in reality is the only thing that you can really say exists is what's around you. And you can look out the window because that's around you too. Giving that particles only exist when people can look at them. And I mean, you've mapped yourself out to these places, and they exist because we've mapped these places before. But at this given time, there's no guarantee that it's really there. And then especially you think if there's a possibility of any kind of dark city interaction at all. It's funny they would mention to call it the dark. Is any can the dark manipulate? And it's interesting hearing other people, when they talk about, I think I'm one of the, Sly and I was chopped up one time about saying, that these demons can do good work too. They can help you, And I'm seeing others kind of, I think they heard that, and they was like, yeah, they have to admit that they'll work with you. And they tell you the dude had the ring. Dude had the ring, and they built that. He's like had some niggas. He's able to bring some demon niggas up. He's like, niggas, I got the ring. We don't want to work for you. I got the ring. Get that hammer. Why you always bring us up here and we got to work for you, man? We don't want to work for you. I got the ring. I mean, what could he do with the ring to him? It's like, did he have to? I guess the ring is like the ring of what is the dude with the ring, the Green Lantern? That's what I imagine it had to be. Solomon's ring had to be like the Green Lantern ring. So he would bring the demons up, and he would have the ring, and the ring would, like, if they get out of line, the ring would like pinch them and give them pain, and So I think that's how the ring must have worked. Like that's where they probably got the Green Lantern eye. So you bring enough of them up, and if you can make your whole, like, just think, you could bring them 100 of them, and if they act out of line, you could just make your ring one big hammer and just boom, smash them. Be like, any more problems with y'all? And they because you wouldn't kill them, you would just smash them and let them like regenerate, and After a couple times, they're gonna do what you tell them to do. So like, just make some stuff. And I mean, it's I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. The relationships that people want to have with things, and truly not understanding all the nature of the thing. I mean, if you work with a thing, you want to keep. Yeah, no, yes, that's right. If you start working with something, you have to know all the possibilities of its inner workings. So you knowing what you're going in with. Because it's like, I've been working with the Hathor energy for a while, and it's like it hit me, was like, oh, this can happen. I was like, oh, okay. I'm glad that I was thirsty enough to, drink a little more, because if I need that, I got that. I'm like, oh, if it needs to hit like that, okay. So that I can work with that. And it's like, it's something I work with already. It's like I already work with how to it's just the divination thing I work with. It's like how to go into a realm and see your idea, or how to put your idea in live working in a realm. And it's something I've already been working with. They call it it's also called the sisters. I guess this is maybe where it came from. I didn't think about that. That's part of where it came from. But it's it's another way of saying, hey, okay, I'm here. Like Dr. Strange says, we tried it a bunch of times. I only want a few tries, but it looks like I got that. Where they're like, okay, we can take these steps for you, and you got to work it out. So that's good. Learn more and more about this stuff. It's like, okay. But also, to feel the heartbeat of the land, the spiritual power of the land. For those of you who are born here, which is probably majority, and even the land you're on, every land is, it's valuable, and there's energy everywhere. Immense amount of energy. I mean, one thing if you notice, like if we were shorter, we were smaller, we would need less resources. They talk about like hobbit people and smaller people. Well, smaller people need less resources, kind of. They need the resources to their general size. Going back into like the quantum kind of thing, even at the quantum, level, there's different resources that you would need. But if, you look at a quantum and this is on top of the quantum, so you'd have, for the rest of the existence from the quantum's perspective, you could always pull energy from all this around you. Even if you wanted to, operate all the time in the quantum state, you knew this was here and this is some, place you could pull some energy from. So you would need less even of this resource. You can let it be. And that's, what I say about the buffaloes. It's a reality where, the people worked it out. They built around the buffaloes because they wanted that energy to feel natural. They respected the land. And, like I watched the thing and it was on, and what was saying is it had one of the Europeans talking to one of the Indian nations. Maybe it was a Cheyenne or some shit. And he was like, before we were here, you were killing all these other tribes and all these other tribes. Yeah, but how far back do you truly know the real history and the given territories on who came in and the given territories of the people who came in and moved around? Because there's a whole history of people coming in and out of these lands. Sometimes it seems like the only thing I'll say is I won't put any of those ancient places over here, but I'll put the ancient time over here. I will agree with that. A lot of the ancient times do appear to be here. And what was developed is still used And some of the earliest seafaring people that go back, you know, their math and their writings go back, you know, they tell a history of not just, you know, 4,000. No, it goes back further. Some of that stuff into the billions almost of calculations of time and existence. They want to give you the Mayan numbers, but they know there's much older numbers than that. And they don't even really know the Omen numbers. So there's been some ancient things that were carried on throughout Americas that we later saw, and you know, all over the coast, up Mississippi Valley, up into Canada. You saw a lot of these things. And they even go, you know, if you go around the Horn over into Europe, you still see and then, you know, you look at like where do you really think the Vikings kind of came from? They tell you again, all their stories is the opposite, because you see that the people from the Americas went up into there, up into Europe. Now you can do your own research, you can find it for yourself, but we knew about them lands, but they knew about us. They want to tell you that it was a secret about these lands, and it's never been. It's secrets. Now, maybe the common people didn't understand, but it sure looked like map makers understood. But again, when you make a new narrative, you can say anything. But it seems like, you know, a lot of we've been taught, even my you know, it's all lies and was propaganda. And then, you know, you wonder why, you know, people rebelled against that and tore down those old monuments, which did hold a type of power, no doubt, especially Pikes. I was surprised Pikes. I thought everyone, but I was not. Some people consciously, you know, they knew the right places and the right ones to take down, because they were still getting power from this stuff. And the generators, they knew what they were doing. And why do you think now they want to put those athletes outside of stadiums? And I've said this many times. You're still pulling from the athlete's energy when you put them outside the stadium like that. That athlete puts energy. But I mean, it's even simpler than that. Like I've expressed when I played high school, you know, the way I played, being one of the early teams that played on that gym, I mean, the people that came after me, you know, they all get some of my energy. I mean, it handles down from people that seen me play, that seen them play, that seen them play, that seen them play. I mean, it becomes ingrained. So all that energy is already there on top of there. You know, all these games there, all that energy stays there. So you put these statues on the outside, that enters to the mix for others to pull on. That's why really, like at A&T, I think you know, Mr. Bethea, Alvin Bethea is in the Football Hall of Fame, but he went to A&T and played the AFL. Now, if anybody deserves a statue at A&T, Alvin Bethea deserves a statue. And I think another dude that deserves a statue at A&T is Dwayne Board. You know, he's a 4-time Super Bowl winner or 3-time Super Bowl winner for the 49ers. And then basketball-wise, Al Atlas. I mean, definitely Al Atlas, because this is what you pull from. But Al Atlas for sure. Al Atlas should be a statue of outside. There's been no better basketball man from A&T than Al Atlas. And I know that's old, but it's still, there's been no really better. There's been successful coaches, but really nobody that's quite matched him. Been a lot of guys playing Europe, in Eastern League, CBA, and stuff like that, but nobody's really matched what Al Atlas did as a coach and a player. Because I want to say Al, let me see, Al. No, he played with the Warriors. But Al played with Wilt when Wilt and Nate Thurman was both at the Warriors. He played with them for a while. Really nice man, too. I wonder if he's still with us. I'm not sure. I'd have to look him up. Maybe not. But really nice man. But that's how you pull energy. I mean, you know, you think about Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson only went to Michigan State 2 years, and they got a statue of him because he won him a championship. George Gervin didn't win a championship. I only think George Gervin played one season at Eastern Michigan. I'm pretty sure he only played one college season there, because the next year he played pros with a Flint team in the CBA. And they put a statue up of him, and he probably gave the school some bread too, but that just shows you, they want people to pull from your energy. Because I've said before, Kenny McIntosh, I think, is still either the all-time leading scorer at Eastern Michigan or number 2. Because Kenny I think he played all 4 years or at least 3 years All-American. And he was the first pro player I met. And I've told that pro story. I used to babysit. And they took advantage of me one night. Man, I know I told this story. They was like asking me how much I charged. And their daughter was like, I was probably 12. So she was probably 8, 9-ish. Yeah, maybe. Let me see. If I'm 12, my brother was 7. So she maybe been 5 or 6. Maybe around my brother's age. Little, yeah. Maybe, yeah, 6, 7, somewhere 8. And anyway, they end up going out for about 12 hours. So, 12 hours at 50 cents an hour wasn't a lot of money. It was like $6, $7. I've been there. My mom was like, well, how much did they pay you? I'm like I had $8, $9. She's like, hey, how much did you charge? Like 50 cents an hour. I'm seeing TV. That's what the TV was saying. How much did you charge? 50 cents an hour. Oh, and that young lady later became a Dallas Cowboy. Courtney, I think, became a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. Had a cousin that also was a Chicago Bulls cheerleader when Mike was there. Used to always see her. We'd go to the games and see her. Not Claudette. I'm old man. I'm old. I can picture her face. I'm old man. But yeah, no debauchery. I wasn't gonna stay on very long tonight. I don't know how much debauchery I want to get into. That is negativity, but it is a lot of negativity in the world. And I hope, it's funny, I don't know. I think I come out so genuine. I mean, Sly be getting on people. And I think I'm at least genuine on what I do. I'm still pretty fit, but right now I'm also, I have to go through now where I've definitely got to heal. I've done something to my knee. So, yeah, I'm like icing every day. So, and I definitely, my left arm, something with my left arm. So I'm gonna have to get therapy for it. So, but as you know, most of the time I'm active. And really, if my knee is okay, not really that bad, I am definitely going to play indoor pickleball. But I do need to rest. So I'm just been lazy. I admit I've been lazy. But again, the little bit of walking I do, my knee swells up and it's harder to get up and down stairs with a swollen knee, So trying to get better. But still, though, I think still there'd be plenty of time to do better and play pickleball indoors and get used to playing indoors and get into it as the weather comes. So, and there's so much to look forward to, and I'm just joyful, and I hope everybody else feels joyful about whatever they're doing. Because, we also are the energy of the new year is coming in. And it's funny, we just seeing all the Christmas commercials. No Halloween, no Thanksgiving, just right for Christmas. Just give us buy. Think about buying, don't think about buying today. Don't think about buying later. Think about buying today. I find that so interesting. So interesting that they bombard us with the commercials already. And I guess they don't have the bell ringers anymore because they was getting robbed. Is that true? I didn't even think about that. Crime finally did what should have been done a long time ago. People should have robbed them. Oh man, can you just imagine staking out a bell ringer? Be like, man, you'd be somewhere in the car maybe, and you looking at how many people are putting money in, and you like, ooh, I think I can get the bell ringer. And it's a little slow period, and then you make your move and go get the bucket. And you take the bucket and dash off and get in the getaway car and take off, and you never know. It might be a couple $100 in there. You never know. I couldn't imagine being like, even thinking about something like that. But I'm not surprised because it was a big money generator. I know whoever used to bell ring the money, I know they miss it. Red Cross, they was getting all that free, technically tax-free money. And people looked at it and was like, yeah, we're gonna cut that off. So I know they lost a lot of dough because they raked in dough. People felt sorry, people, and that's what people say. Why can't you do things for people all year round? And that goes into socialism, where if you build tiny houses for all the homeless, that's socialism, isn't it? Isn't that socialism? If you build them tiny houses, if they can do anything, they could trade their skills for some kind of, meaningful work for the community. I think that should be offered too. I think that if you were to do something like that, but is that something that they really want? Because it had been easy, you see when the FEMA put out, they showed all the little wagons and stuff, but you could build very good and very well made tiny houses. You could build them quickly you could even put basements in them. Take longer, probably be a little more expensive, but I mean, if you had the option, put a little basement under that little structure, double your structure. Give you more storage in case a tornado came, at least a cellar. But if you did that for the people that claimed they was homeless, put them in them kind of encampments. Because again, that'd be the most, economical ways to put them all together somewhere. And you could dot them across. And what kind of community would that change? Because one thing they acute to homelessness is the drug use and stuff, and the crime from the drug use. And I can't say that the two, necessarily have to exist together. I imagine that they do, but I don't think they. I think there can be homelessness without the drug dependency too, because again, there could be homelessness because of mental illness. And so, there can be a lot of reasons for these type of events. And so that would be an answer. And, I'm sure there's enough land, which they show. And again, what I started talking about is resources. Smaller community like that, what kind of resources are they pulling from? Because again, waste is not hard to take care of. Portable potties and taking care of them. It's not that hard to put those systems in year round. Instead of, having to put in all the sewers and stuff through all the homes. Like think about Detroit, where, all those homes are already hooked up to water lines. You would think they would be ideal for little homes because, every house you could put at least two separate water lines on each one water line. And that'd be a way that Detroit could get their money back. And that could be a place where homeless could be directed. And there would probably be some land because we know that they can, that Michigan land, you can grow anything almost anywhere in Michigan. The land is really good for almost all type of crops. I mean, unfortunately, there was only one farmer in my family, and that was my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and his nephews. His brother and his nephews. They was the only farmers that really was left. And none of the children really wanted to farm. So it's just land left now, land and a couple houses. Like where it was once a whole area when I was a little boy, my grandfather, he gave where this whole street, my grandfather just gave to the city to put the high school field on the old high school. He just, where their old football field was, he just gave them that whole shot of land right there. And the other side he once owned. I mean, it was like he owned this whole bend where they created a road. It's probably, road that at first it was just a dirt road that led for miles to his other brother's property. I often, think about my great-great-grandfather having one of the first cars in the family. One of the first cars probably in the area. And those vehicles was used to pull wagons and shit too, and being a farmer and, having a vehicle to pull wagons allowed him to buy a tractor. He had bought a tractor. He had tractor being, his lands was, he had mechanical, tractors and shit. He always had the newest tractor because I remember playing on the old one. So I don't know how long that old one we used to play on was there. Barns, animals. For some reason, he kept a dead fox skin in the chicken coop. I forget what he said, what it did. Scared him or some shit he said it did. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it did, but times change so much that that wasn't passed on. Okay. That it wasn't passed on, And those skills not passed on. It's funny, I knew a couple people that had orchards, like even my stepmother's family. But her father grew orchards, and I really think that I kind of wish I would have kind of been allowed to be cooler with that dude, because I think that dude I could have got some understanding about agriculture. It was really perfect for A&T. I really wish I could have got the skills from working, day to day, a couple of months. I wish I could have got some summers of working with him, then going into college, having that idea of working around that thing. I think it would have possibly been, helpful for me to be around that. And so as the football thing didn't work out, that could have worked out where I came back. He was still involved. I would have still been young enough. And, that might have been something I could have kept going. So when the time came, when things was changing, that, I had ran enough and to kept whatever part that the family didn't want, I could have kept that part going as my thing. So those was all possibilities, but it wasn't to be, and that's fine too. That's fine. My best friend's son might possibly go to A&T, so it's interesting. And A&T is still scamming. A&T is still scamming. A&T got hit with having too many out-of-state people. They're supposed to have a certain number of in-state people because it is a state college. All those colleges, North Carolina State, North Carolina at Wilmington, I think the College of Charleston might be in South Carolina. Johnson C. Smith. Trying to think, Appalachia State. I mean, there's a bunch of state colleges that are all connected. So, I wonder if I've got the stuff on back there. I wonder if it's making me stuffy, but it's making me. But yes, my friend's son is considering going to A&T. I guess he's in graphic design, and that's what he wants to go into. So that'll really be cool. Let me see. How long have I been going? Almost 2 hours. Damn. Well, I'm going to go use the bathroom. Or at least stand up. I think I'll just stand up. Yeah, I'll just stand up. I don't really have to go to the bathroom. I don't think I'll tear down anything. Oh, yeah. There we go. Oh, I needed that. All right. Oh, and I don't have my watch on. I didn't wear the little brain on my arm. Free from the brain. And I think I'm taking my chain out to go get my chain fixed. I think we're going out to the jury. I'm gonna see how much they'll charge. I'm gonna go out to the Mall of America first. See, it might be cheaper to let them do it. I think they're only gonna charge me about $60-$70 to get a new spring. But this one bust after about 4 or 5 years. That one I had a good 3-4 years. So it happens. It's better to get them fixed. You break them, don't wear them, because that little spring will not hold. If you think you push it back in place, it is not going to stay. And it's some fall off you. Some people ain't sensitive enough. Like I remember I dropped a bracelet and I just did it. I like, man, because bracelets were something that was really, even when you got them, they would just pop off. I was really always leery of bracelets. And I just looked at my hand and I backtracked and I found it. Nobody saw that gold. And it was a big chunky gold bracelet and nobody found it. But it was like, but the coolest gold bracelet I had the little cocaine stash compartment. You'd open it up and put coke in there. It was like you could squash the coke down and had a little spoon and shit. And you open the tray and had a little spoon. That was some 80s shit. Hey! What Bill Cosby said, cocaine heightens you or something. He's like, well, what if you were an asshole? Heightens your assholeness. Now, it makes most people paranoid. But it has an opposite effect on some people. It makes the hyper slow, you know. You know, they said that people with ADHD probably, they say they have the possibility of getting dementia. Higher chance of getting dementia. I didn't really read the article, so I can't tell you any more than that little part, but I came across that. I was like, wow. That I want to, you know, why would that be? You know, do the people, you know, in those type of energies not get enough rest? Because that's what it seems to come down to, is not getting enough rest and not getting enough meaningful rest. That's what it seems to point to, is not getting enough meaningful rest. And not keeping your mind alert in things. Like I may fuck around with this phone all day, but I mostly read all day, meditate, stretch. I don't turn my television on. If I'm here by myself, I don't turn the television on until 6, 7 o'clock. That's daily. Daily. I won't turn the TV on. I don't watch TV during the day. Now I'll see some YouTube shit every now and then, but most of the time I try to be disconnected from that phone, do things to disconnect myself from the phones. And I read books on the phone too. That's the biggest get me too, is I'm read books on the phone, read information on the phone. You know, don't be just looking at pictures. I be actually reading shit. I like reading, you know. So now I've just knocked off 3 or 4 books. I'm on like the 4th book. I'm reading 2 more books. And I've heard people they say they can't read 2 books at the same time. I don't get that. It's why not? When you're in college and you got to study, sometimes you got to read 4 or 5 books at the same time. So I think, you know, wherever the young man that I heard say that, I guess you didn't go to college, because in college you got to study a bunch of stuff at the same time. So I guess that's where that habit came from. Is, yeah, when you have to keep studying, you got to study a bunch of stuff sometime. I'm just starting a book called God's Banker. Showed a little bit about it in God the Father 3, you know, the money behind the papal state. You know, I've talked many times before about Queen Isabella and the papal state, and what happened to the papal state and how the papal state really became, you know, at one point the papal state had all of Italy. And then the Turks, I think, beat them off of it. And, you know, when Italy became sovereign from them, you know, they actually, at one point, they held the whole country. I don't know if people really remember that. And they got beat back. I mean, people forget that Napoleon beat them too. You know, that's who, if you look at who defeated the old Roman Catholic Church, who defeated them, and they'll tell you Napoleon. That recent in history. So I picked a little bit of that up that I didn't quite understand how they got that little bit. They actually had a lot more. They had the whole country at one time, and they had armies to back them. I mean, everybody watched that series on the Borgias. You know, that's who that picture is of Jesus, is the Borgia. So you can look up that series to see who they were. He was a minor player. He was a bishop that had his own military that fought for Isabella when Isabella beat the Moors and the Jewish faith people. Because they put both of them out. You know, they took really just Grenada was the only pocket left. And they took all the roads leading to Grenada. And that this is, I was trying to. Okay, I'll get back to this point. So one thing that the way that the church got their power was when people would want to come be priest, they would give their land and all their money to the church. So the churches started acquiring a lot of lands because these people was joining, and when to join, you had to give them your land. And so this got the church, and the churches, almost went to bankruptcy and shit several times. They, the churches was dealing with the Nazis. They knew about the Nazis and what the Nazis was doing. So, and might have even helped some of the Nazis escape. So, and of course, that wasn't always their land. That land also belonged to other folks. They set up there because of what was all done there in the past. Again, they know what about these ley lines and these energy lines. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to say this. Pendulums don't just go one way. They can go forward. They can go sideways. They can swing hard this way. They can swing hard that way. They can just kind of barely move like this. Now, it ain't going to go up like this. It's always going to hang from gravity. It's never going to go just like this. But it can swing in every direction. So don't just swing in one way. It can swing in every direction. I heard somebody say that. He's like, why do pendulums just swing one way? They don't. So this one's going counterclockwise for some reason. Okay. So, I don't know. And that trident energy, how old this energy is, the trident. This is Aquaman. The trident is Aquaman. This is the same symbol. This is a much older symbol. The Zeus symbol and Aquaman's trident is way younger than this. This is the original. Really, this shows it in motion. This is the true energy of the trident in motion. Still the thunderbolts. This is brass. This stuff has become quite a good collectible stuff. And my man here is not just totally one thing to me. It's like Darvidians, Omen, totally like doesn't need food or anything. It's just here to absorb the sun, but yet stillness, quietness, inner peace, loving every moment, being here now. Being here now. And these crystals have been on him for, look, oh, he's smiling. Damn, did you catch the smile? Wow. Wow, okay. Look at the smile. This mug is smiling. You see that shit? I ain't never seen this mug smile before. You see that? He's smiling. Oh, okay, it's not smiling so hard. Okay. Oh, this thing likes to be on the camera. Okay. I had to bring you on more often. But yeah, that energy's been around. I just had these were my necklaces. It's quartz and cat's eyes, so. And this is his table. Really, this is his table. And I try to put the energies, I build the energies around him. Yeah, I build the energies like when you start with a type of grid and everything I put there, the bowls and everything, it magnifies, but it all puts together energies that I hope, push me through. Hope. But that's the way it is. It's like he's pushing so much energy out, but also all the things around him can work in cooperation. All this, works in cooperation to my highest good, because everything around me I pretty much brought in here with love and consideration. Now there, it's a lighter and some chapstick, but everything else, all these crystals, it's like sometimes it's hard to give them up. I like giving them to people, but sometimes because there's a story how I can tell you almost the story about every rock. And I thank the rocks for choosing me, because that's really kind of how I look at it, is they choose me. And I've said this one before, I've traveled many places with this one. This one's been, well, it came from China, but it's been around America. I travel with this and I astro travel with it. But this ordered itself to me. So this was meant to be with me. And so they're each and every one, has a story. And, I may not pick it up for a while or interact with it, but it's still a story behind me just bringing it in. And like this stuff here, like I never thought that, I would have to be able to have any kind of thing like this in my lifetime. I first read the book in 1984, 85. They came before Columbus and got exposed to these. And, just opening the world up of just what is really the energy in the Americas. Oh, okay. I'll keep going with that. I mean, there's so much free energy, and if we tap into it, because really, like, we have invaders that know this energy is here, and they're trying to do anything they can to stop us from getting it. But on the other side, they put themselves on the strongest line, so they don't really have to fight us, the ones that are able to tap from the lands. They've got plenty. But you have to just look at any city. Like I was talking about Mason Halls the other day. Why do you think the Mason Halls, the downtown courthouses, I mean, all of them are on certain ley lines? Now, there are some exceptions. I'm not going to talk too much shit, but there's some exceptions. There are some of them that aren't. They just put them up there. I've picked that up too. But if you get into some, like we have a federal courthouse that's downtown, and if you look at it where it's downtown, it is under a ley line. And it's got all that marble in there. The main courthouse for Minneapolis, the Hennepin, the jail. I mean, again, the jail, the courthouse. The courthouse doesn't have, as some places, heavily marbled as some places you can go into, but still, it's still the way the building's shaped and the energy of the building. It's for them. It's to make you feel uncomfortable. Man, family court is a motherfucker. I remember at first when things weren't looking good for me, just seeing my ex and stuff, because you have to be in separate chambers and shit to go testify. One time she came in my chamber and she had to leave my chamber because she didn't know which chamber she was supposed to be in. I'm just laughing, looking there acting and shit. And it makes you sometimes you say, well, man, I don't know if I can win. But then to be able to be there and be like, oh, not only do you win, you kick ass. And it's like, damn. So it's ways that all can be done. And, I just come here to try to give you understanding a little bit of how to do things positively, and use your magic. Again, everybody's magic ain't the same. Everybody's magic is different, but you have to find your magic and what calls you, what drives you. And you should be your pursuits. I mean, no matter what job you do, you should have, a lot of outside interests. A lot of things to make you, make decisions. That's the great thing about pickleball. Like they were saying, some of the, the good things about playing pickleball was relationships. But I'll say this is quick thinking. It makes you react. Not only react quick, you have to think quick. You have to anticipate. You have to anticipate in a quick manner. Move your whole body, anticipate. Like one guy, it's always a thing when they go high, you go low. And it was like where I put my paddle, I didn't even look. I just put my paddle down because he went high and he slammed it. My paddle caught it and I was able to put a little force into it and it went over his head. But again, I anticipated with my quickness and put it the perfect spot, not even seen. But again, the decision I had to make, put my body in that's good for old people. That's good. That is so good to have to do. It's one dude I could tell, he not remembering names and shit, but playing, I could just see him playing that it helps. It helps. And you ain't even got to play competitively. You just hit it back and forth with people. It'll make you think. But if you get competitive, it'll make you think. It's going to be an Olympics. They talking about putting flag football. Pickleball is going to storm the Olympics. It really is. The pros doing it is going to storm the country. It's almost probably going to be. They're already doing a barnstorm of pro pickleball players, and so what's good is they're going to be a lot of money in the local ones too. So, and I think for my age, I can play with anybody. Pretty sure. Once I find out what's wrong with my knee, if I can go see my knee and get my left arm a little stronger, because my left arm is fine really. If I was playing, it's fine, but it's just shooting baskets and stuff. I can tell it's not strong as it should be. Pickleball is fine. And it's like also like, one thing I know is like I would always return left-handed. I would always. I taught even if it hurt the game I was playing, I still was going to force myself. If they served to me on my left side, I was going to return it left-handed. And so no matter how it hurt me, it's still. And so at the end, when my coordination never came, it helps. So sometimes you just practice to get yourself better and your ego's not in the way but the quick decisions is I don't know. In tennis, you can get it from tennis too. Tennis is, a little more, you got to really play with somebody on your own level that can just volley back and forth to you and don't run you, a lot of running. Because tennis can be a lot of hard stops and running. Unless you play with somebody. And my daughter's getting to that where she's good enough to just, back and forth. And so this year, it's going to be a lot of tennis and a lot of pickleball coming up. Once I find out. And I just think that's a healthy thing. I really do. I think it's a healthy thing. So, you can see what works for you, but definitely read, and not just on the phone. Hold a book. I think the book helps with imagination. The books help with imagination. And sometimes for some people it makes them tired enough where they get a peaceful rest. So. Consider that. Consider your rest, and how you rest. And if you can dream, go into the dream world, whatever it does when you rest, that you truly get rest. And that, you don't have to go through that sleep paralysis or any of those kind of things. And again, I said it's a simple way to keep that kind of stuff away from you. You buy these kind of crystals and put them in the corners, that stuff would never bother you. Put selenite in the windows, stick this in the corners, pop a light. And once you get them out, you can activate them with once you put them in position. And it would be good to, smudge the room and then put those things down, or even incense. If you ain't got smudge, incense can run some shit off too. And then put those things in the room and then activate them with sound or again, another smell. And that kind of thing will go away. And, I'm not going to benefit from telling you that, but that will make that thing go away. And then if you know what the thing is, again, that's something that fucks with you almost in the quantum level. It really does. Because it fucks with you in the dream level. And the dream level, we're about this big in the dream level. Well, our dream screens, again, I've said is about that big. Like if it's wide, it'd be that wide by that fat. It's an oblong shape and it's about that wide. And about 3 feet. And so if you picture how big you are in that kind of screen, that is what attacks you. It's that big, you know. That's why it's funny if you wake up and you can see in the dream screen, you're looking at this little thing. It's like you can almost reach in and grab the little thing, like, little thing, you better leave me the fuck alone while I'm in that realm. Because it's a little bitty thing that fucks with people, that people, you know, get, you know, can't breathe. But that's that, because, you know, the cool thing about putting the pyramids in the corners is, you know, the only place darkness can go is in the corners. You know, darkness retreats. You know, you turn on the light, it goes somewhere, you know, it exists. You know, it exists. Darkness exists. You just make it run away. You turn on the light, the darkness runs away. So, so if that's helpful, and, you know, put selenite in all your windows. I got to cut up some selenite because I got a big long piece. And you can buy a cheap long piece and just put little pieces in your windows. And that'll keep a lot of bullshit from messing with you too. And all that would cost you less than $10 to give you a strong spiritual place where stuff won't mess with you. Now, you know, that can go a bunch of different ways, because if you know, you trying to bring stuff in, keep that in mind. What you bringing in might be in that room with you, you know, unless you can't, you find that you don't put the controls up. Because they do teach, you know, you in a controlled room, that's why, you know, they circle up. They try to tell you to circle up and, you know, put the bonding spells in, but you would use a room that's contained spiritually. That's what you would want. Even like, you know, you want a deeper conversation with an ancestor or some type of sign, you know, it's good for that too. It's the best, you know, it's really the best to be spiritually protected when you meditate or even pray, whatever you want to call it, you know, manifest. You know, you want to manifest from protected space. Man, check this out. And this is like a bad word. I'm going to show you a cuss word this time of year. All right, here we go. Let me slow it down. I can just stop it. Nope. Right there. Let's start right here. All right, check this shit out. This is like 4 hours away from me. Yeah, because I think the borders are it's like 3 hours, 4 hours.
Season here in Minnesota, snow is already falling in several states. This video taken by one of our Fox 9 photojournalists in North Dakota. You can see flakes flying down on the roadways there and off in the fields. Meantime, in Montana, more snow there. Some areas are expecting up to a foot of snow when this storm is all said and done. Here, though, we will not be seeing any measurable snow anytime soon. If you consider soon,
what is soon?
In the next week.
I believe the Smiths back in the 1980s, a British pop group, said it best. How soon is now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Seeing those pictures out of North Dakota, those wide open spaces where the wind just carries all the snow.
Yeah.
North Dakota. It's blinding.
You know, and we've been talking about that all week. I've said that is the target zone. Montana, North Dakota, a little sliver of extreme northwestern Minnesota, Manitoba, Canada, Western Ontario.
Yeah, so I'm here, and you see, this is about to Bismarck. Trying to think. We went through Bismarck. So I think we're only about 3 hours from the border. Now I know if we go to this border, because this was 2.5 hours, to go to Duluth, that right here is Duluth. To go there is 2.5 hours. And then this is Michigan. All right, let me get this right. That's Canada. This is Wisconsin. And then that's Upper Peninsula, Michigan right there. So, you know, you cross over here. It's a bridge on the Lake Superior you cross to get into. And there's a city up here called Superior, Wisconsin. Green Bay is, see, over here. So, yeah, Bismarck, wow. Shit, my nephew was past Bismarck. We was like over in here somewhere. We was like in there. Like we was way the fuck over in here. We went somewhere in here, and Bismarck is depressing. It is the most depressing place, but it's Winnipeg. It's a team up there. International Falls, Frostbite Falls, all that shit. All that shit, man. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh. What does it say? Okay. Oh, Exum. Okay. For some reason, I'm not getting it. Or did I turn back? Oh, yeah. No. I'm not getting the chat. Oh. Oh, okay. That's cool. I saw that. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't even see the chat, guys. I just been talking. What's happened to LeBron the other night? He thought he got his ankle broken, but the shooter stepped on his foot. In his final years, Keith Jackson stopped traveling. He just did only games at the Rose Bowl Stadium. You like Doris Burke? I like her too. I saw when Shaq and Wilt shook hands. Wilt made Shaq. Even Ray Allen was pissed off in that series. I see Exum. Why was Exum on Dallas? Why did they have Exum on Dallas? Yeah, that didn't make sense to have Exum on Dallas. I didn't get that. The Exum in the league. I mean, that's that. Exum should not be in the league. Yeah, it's no way. They made We Bad. Even though the script is still great watching. Yeah, I would agree. They made Wemby look bad. Well, I mean, he did a lot of dumbass fouls tonight. Remember they were saying, hate to see Edwards' years get wasted. I don't know. Yeah, we talked about that. Oh, yeah, we talked about that. The shooting. Yeah, Exum's trash. Yeah, I talked about the shooting, and that's what I started off with tonight. I started off about the shooting main. Yep. Yep, I started off, PJ, talking about that. I'm sorry, the chat, but Exum is trash. It's like, no way. He was trash when they cut him. Why would they bring him back? That's what I understand. Like Dallas, why is he in Dallas? He taking up a spot. Taking up a spot. He a point guard. Can't really shoot. He ain't that tall. He's had a bunch of injuries. He's tore his Achilles. He's had knee injuries. So, and like Patty Mills. Why Patty Mills got a job? Undersized dude. You can get anybody to shoot. Everybody can shoot now. It ain't like, people can't shoot anymore. Everybody can shoot. So you don't need undersized people anymore. Can't tell me you can't get a dude normal size that that can shoot, because you can. I watch enough games to know that. Says, why are catalytic converters thefts down? Oh, shoot. I don't know. I'm starting to get sleepy. That's a good sign. Oh, wow. Man, I guess I'll end like this. Man, I had a deep breakthrough on my meditation. Man, it was so deep. It was really, really deep. Wow. It's like, man, stuff sometimes becomes so clear. And it's like, it takes a lot, it takes a lot of vibration and stuff, where you start hearing stuff, you start seeing. I mean, it can really, I don't know, it's different for everybody, to get that, to get the, I don't even know if it's the God's view. The God's view means so many different things. God's view is really not a good, God's view is also surveillance. That's what they would like. It's like, how you can look at, if you were able to follow a bunch of different where rabbits was in their holes, and you could follow their lives and stuff, put a camera up and watch the lives of the rabbits, or even like put a bird's nest up and put a camera there. You'd kind of have a God's eye view of what would happen in the nest. But it's another way, you can kind of have that view too. And whatever this is, you can seem to break through to it in your own way, however that is. You can get it to your high as you can get it. And that's all I can say. It's you, whatever it is and the way it comes for you, then that's what you get into. That's what you pursue. I can't tell you what it is, but I can just say that, you can feel energy moving. You can get Kundalini. Everybody can get that. So everybody can learn to vibrate at a certain level. And that's all it is. And, put things around you that vibrate at a certain level. And make those things move around you. And work for you to make you feel better. It should make you feel better. But I'll end with this. This is one of the greatest things for anxiety. It's a Shiva ligam. I think the black ones are stronger than the gray ones. They're not as last 4 or 5 years. They're easier to get the black ones. For a while, you couldn't really get these black ones, but now. But they all come from the same spot. I mean, they make them smooth, but they all seem to carry a very soft energy. But the energy also can take anxiety off you, I guess, is the best thing I could think of. These really can help with anxiety. You kind of like the way you would meditate with an egg. You kind of twirl it in your hand, and you notice that it's porous. All of them are porous because they follow. These all come from water, so you see they're very porous stones. And as you twirl it, once you connect with the stone will see, what burden to kind of help release from you. Yeah, release from you. And then, if you get to a certain point where, again, the ultimate scrubbers are any kind of zoolite, like, again, they'll pop a light. These are tremendous. If you think you're carrying around, I don't know, man, attachments. Good, I did it. I heard my ex-wife. She heard it in her voice. Attachments. These can get rid of that for sure. Pop a light. They can pop that off you. Because they're scrubbers by nature, lithium. But yeah, anxiety, if you suffer from anxiety, these really can help. Calm it down. Calm it down. Take on some of the fear a little bit, I guess. Or whatever, acts with you. There's some things that can help. And this, I think, can help. And again, I don't sell it, so I'm not benefiting from telling you that. And, if you find that not to be true, well, I'm sorry that you couldn't connect with the stone. That's all. Doesn't mean what I'm saying is untrue, and it doesn't mean that what you say is by you not connecting with the stone is untrue either. It's just it didn't happen for you. But even having it around you would have a positive effect. And so maybe not holding it would be your thing, but if you saw eventually, if you just sat near it, it might help too. So it takes time for things. It takes time to connect with things, so that's all. Oh yeah, but we're supposed to have a El Nino winter up here. It's not supposed to be that rough on us, so that's positive. I look forward to that. And I think I'm gonna cut it. I gave my NFL picks. I talked about something I usually don't talk about, the main stuff. And I'm sorry that I didn't get into the chat. But I gonna watch try to see if I can see the Timberwolves games, a few more, because I love watching Ant play. I'm definitely going to make a game. I only went to one game last year, but I'll go at least one, maybe two this year. I'm going to see the Vikings in a couple weeks, so I'm going to be dripped in the purple. Shit, I might get the new LeBrons to, match the Viking gear. I'm going to walk up in that motherfucker with. That's what I think I'm going to do. I'm just going to get me some purple LeBrons to walk up in that bitch with. Just have fun. I love the gear and have fun. Well, I think I'm going to cut it, guys. It's been 2 hours and a half. I think that's pretty long enough to hear me philosophize. But yeah, talked about the shooting tonight, talked about my picks. Yeah, see what you think about, why are they trying to put oxygen in the quantum zone? Why would they benefit from oxygen being there when it's not there right now? and things are moving along without oxygen. You know, there's even some, it's like really, if you look at a fish, and a fish even out of water, it's so used to moving water. And we're in the same, like I know it's like we breathe, the way fish, water goes through their system is the same way with us and air. You know, the air is quite moist. I mean, there's things that you can, you know, buy that traps the moisture out there, you know. But there's a lot more moisture than what we realize. And the way we bring in air in and out is always there. It's like when you get the wind knocked out of you. It's not like you're dying. It's just like what air is in your body is holding at the time, all gets pushed out. And that's what that is when you get the wind knocked out of you. And you know, first time it happens to you, it does kind of stun you, you know, if it happens, because it happens pretty steadily. So I'm gonna call it tonight. Thank you. I know it's late. Thank you for the ones on the East Coast that listen. I know it's late. Thank you to the ones in the Midwest for listening. I know it's late. People on the East Coast, West Coast, thank you. People in other countries, thank you. Whenever you see this, I hope you get something out of it. And it was positive. So till we meet again, definitely say